Well, hello, friends. Welcome to this recording. My name is Laura Leese, and I am a spiritual director. And I am joined by my new friend, Tracie Tackett, who is based in the Lexington, Kentucky area here in the US. And she is in the process of launching a new spiritual direction business. And we are very excited about that and want you to know her. And so, welcome, Tracie, to our conversation today.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Great.
So happy to be here.
I'm so glad. It's amazing. So, how did you first become interested in spiritual direction?
So I was in a season of full-time ministry, and I was trying to discern a move in our ministry to kind of a different calling, a different area of ministry. And I was reading a couple of authors that kept mentioning spiritual direction. And this has been just in the past 5 years, and piqued my interest. I became very curious. What is this spiritual direction is about? And so I just started doing some digging and reading and asking around, and found a spiritual director in my area and started to meet with her. And there began my spiritual direction journey.
Yeah. Do you recall those authors you came across early on?
Yes, Ruth Haley Barton and
I,
Emily P. Freeman,
oh, really
two
good.
authors that I love to follow, and
Mhm.
just had never heard about spiritual direction. It just was not something that I knew about. And it became the journey of some real spiritual transformation for me, not only in that discernment time, but just in my personal life as well, and my spiritual journey with the Lord. And so it was one of my best yeses that year, of just deciding that yes, it was time to, we can do counseling and therapy and great spiritual practices, but this is a different kind of spiritual practice. And this was a practice for me that opened up some new ways of being with the Lord that have been very transformational for me.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tracie. So, can you say more about your own spiritual practices lately?
Yes. So through that journey of deciding for myself to do spiritual direction, my spiritual director happened to notice something as we were discerning. And she said, I keep noticing that that you're loving meeting with others and hearing their stories. And this has been a part of my journey as I look back my whole life. I love to hear other people's stories, and it just grows my faith, challenges me. And she said, have you ever thought about becoming a spiritual director? I said, actually, no, this is so new to me.
Yeah.
So I began to just lay that at the feet of Jesus and just pray about that and ask the Lord, help me to discern. And out of that grew a desire to start a spiritual direction program. So I did that through Christos, Center for Spiritual Formation. And in that time, I learned so many spiritual practices that were not new to the ancient way, not new to so many, but new to me personally. And one that has been so transformational for me has been the rule of life. And the rule of life, if it's new to anybody watching, I like to simply say it's just a guardrail. It's a signpost that we can put in place in our lives to begin to really walk in a deeper walk with the Lord. And I don't know if anybody that is watching can relate, but I'm a yes person. So saying yes to a lot of things is something that is very easy for me to do. But as I learned about these spiritual practices of prayer and fasting and silence and solitude, silence was a new one for me. And just a deeper prayer life has been a real game changer for me. And so the rule of life has been a practice that I am still learning and continuing to learn. But I think those have been the big things for me lately in my spiritual practices.
Lovely. Thank you. It's so wonderful, Tracie, to hear a little bit about the journey that you've been on in a
Mm.
fairly short amount of time. And I think so many of us, it's not something we thought when we were 10 years old, we wanted to be a spiritual director one day.
Mm.
And yet it's sort of when somebody names it, we can say, yeah, I've kind of been doing that for a lifetime. It has a name. How do I get more into this very thing I seem to have already been doing for a lifetime? So
Mm.
if somebody were to meet with you, Tracie, what might a typical session look like?
Yeah, my typical sessions are about an hour, but I always give time for the Lord to move if he needs a little longer. So we generally meet, and some people are coming not knowing anything about spiritual direction. So I always prepare them in our consultation that we're going to have a minute or two of silence. If that's a new practice, and it's a little bit uncomfortable, let that be okay.
Mm,
So I enter always by lighting a candle. I love to light a candle as we get started, just as a reminder that God is our director. The Holy Spirit is going to lead and guide us in our time, and He's the light in our time. And I give a few minutes for silence. And for my directees, it's their time. It is a time for me to be with them in their story. And so I tell them that I meet them right where they are, not where they want to be or where they're longing to go, but right where they are, wherever that is, whether it's discernment or longing for breakthrough or feeling stuck in a certain area or in the dark night of the soul. And they get to begin. They get to start the conversation whenever that is. And I'm just a listening companion.
mm,
I give a lot of space I just hold that space for them.
mm,
And if that's a spiritual practice they want to learn, I'll be ready to bring that in our time together.
mm,
And then as we close, I always give another couple of minutes of silence and ask us both just to be listening for how God might be inviting them.
mm,
And then we'll kind of close in prayer, and I'll blow my candle out and then spend some time praying before and after for
mm.
them.
So lovely. I think, Tracie, one of the hallmarks of spiritual direction is this non-judgmental presence, the gift of being kind of this third party in their lives, not involved in their day to day. We can never be spiritual director to those beloveds that are close to us, our family and friends. So I think that's part of the beauty of spiritual direction is this non-judgmental, positive regard, no matter what someone brings. How often do we hear someone say, I've not told anyone else this?
Yes.
Wow, that's okay. What a sacred trust this is. This is holy ground. Um, so grateful for more people like yourself entering this field. So far, Tracie, who are the folks who are tending to come to you for spiritual direction? Is there like people with a certain kind of background or story? Have you noticed any trends in that?
Well, not yet, Laura, since I just opened my practice recently.
Yes.
But I mean, my hope and prayer is that as directees come and continue coming, that it's a safe place for anyone.
Mm,
It's a space for anyone to come, all ages, all walks in a spiritual journey, wherever, whether they're just learning who is God, what is this about, or have resistance or questioning or have hurt or are discerning a decision, a move in ministry, or burnout. That's been a big one too.
mm,
Just tired in
yes.
ministry. So
Yes.
my prayer is that as I continue, that anyone would feel welcome to just hold space
Mm,
for their journey and tend to their soul.
yes. And I know when you and I first met just a few weeks ago, Tracie, you spoke about, of course, how you're a little bit more into the southern part of the United States. You can hear in your accent, at least compared to mine here in the Midwest, and that what you're bringing with the spiritual formation direction world sometimes is not as well known in the church in the South.
That is
And
true.
so, yeah, so I'm just reminded of that, especially for church leaders.
Yes.
Is it okay to have these feelings? Who can I turn to with this? Mm.
Yes. Yeah. And I do hear that comment that you said
Oh,
earlier of, I've never told anyone this,
mhm.
or I don't have a safe place for someone to just simply listen. So it's just become a beautiful journey of just offering that to others.
Yes. And I'm so grateful that you yourself have been a church leader so much in your career. And so as people sit there, they get the sense that you can empathize with where they are and accept them and these feelings.
Yes.
Huge gift. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Tracie, is there anything else you would like to share with us today?
Oh, I just want to thank you, Laura. It's been
Mm.
a pleasure getting to know you and go through your program as I continue to grow my practice. People can find me on I have a website, www.holypause.com. And I really base everything on that, just a holy pause for whatever God has. And I do have, I've started blogging a little bit, and I have a YouTube channel now just to offer a holy pause every Wednesday, a
Okay.
time for people to just jump on the middle of the week, kind of longing for weekend, starting the week right in the middle, to just pause and be in their story, and in what's going on in them and their world around them and their journey with the Lord. So it's very short. It's 5 to 6 minutes, and offers some reflection at the end that people can take and carry with them into their day or quiet time, or go for a walk with the questions, or just listen in. So yeah, and I hope to be offering some things as I go and grow my practice. I am offering some retreats lately with some different churches and leading some women's retreats. So yeah, that's been exciting as well. So
Great. Wonderful. Tracie, I'm just so grateful for your jumping all in with your new business and spiritual direction. And thank you for mentioning the YouTube and the blog. And we'll be sure to have links to those also associated with this video recording. And so we thank you for your time today. And I thank you, listener, for tuning in today, and hope that you have been blessed by our conversation, and encourage you to continue to persevere seeking all the support you need. Thank you so much. Bless you.
thank you so much.